So as of making this video, about a week has passed since the release of Wuthering Waves and I've been fully immersed in it. I reached level 32 and I was grinding as much as I could the first few days, but then some stuff came up and I wasn't able to play the game very much. However, during my playthrough, several thoughts have come to mind that I'd like to share. First off, let's talk about graphics and world building. Kuro Games has really outdone themselves in these areas. The art style is beautiful and the attention to detail is incredible. The world feels alive with dynamic weather, day and night cycles, and intricate landscapes. The landscape doesn't feel barren at all. You'll encounter various NPCs fighting each other, or monsters, or even animals engaging in battles among themselves. Not to mention you can feed and pet the dogs. The world feels very lively, which I truly did not expect. When it comes to different map locations and landscapes, I have mixed feelings. On one hand, the key locations are vivid and memorable. On the other hand, I find it hard to separate different regions because they all blend into one another. For example, when I'm exploring the world, I find it difficult to separate when I leave one region and enter the next, although I don't know whether it's a bad thing. Unlike Genshin Impact, where each region has a distinct feel, Wuthering Waves struggles a bit in this aspect. However, I do appreciate the variety of puzzles scattered throughout the game. They add a nice layer of challenge and keep things interesting, even though I would like a higher difficulty in some of them. Now, let's discuss the characters. At first, I found that visually the 4-star characters were quite bland and boring. The 5-star characters I liked better, but they still seem to lack a certain flair. Despite this, the animations for all characters look really good. After some days, they honestly grew on me. The gameplay itself is very smooth and polished. I especially enjoy the boss fights. They are challenging and fun. The overworld fights, however, can get a bit repetitive. I find myself often spamming through characters and abilities. One aspect I really appreciate is that you don't need to follow the meta. You can pick your favorite character and get good, which isn't too hard to achieve. Me personally, I use Calcaro. However, even though the animations are impressive, the characters' playstyles feel very similar. There's little diversity and the impact of their abilities seems minimal. But hey, that might just be a skill issue on my part. Another thing worth mentioning is the build customization options. While the characters might lack diversity in playstyle, you can still tailor their builds and abilities to suit your preferences, adding some personal flair to your gameplay. I really enjoy trying out different echoes. My personal favorite is probably the motorcycle echo. Moving on to the story. At first, it was aight, nothing groundbreaking, but it picked up the pace later on. Although I haven't had the time to finish it, my favorite character is Scar and I also enjoy the other characters. The story's narrative feels somewhat similar to Genshin Impact. I do enjoy the skip button on the side quests and there's no one who's constantly yapping in your ear. The story quests are engaging enough to keep you hooked, and the side quests add extra layers to the world building, making the overall narrative experience quite fulfilling. Now, let's address the big issues. The first few hours of gameplay were quite miserable due to technical issues on Kuro's part. I don't know how the experience was on mobile devices, but I heard they had similar problems. Personally, there were times when the game was unplayable due to severe stuttering and lag. I even had to turn off the audio because it would stack on top of each other, creating unbearable sound effect. As for the second and third days, things improved, but the stuttering and lag still persists. Also, the loading screens feel like an eternity, like GTA 5 in 2013. But huge props to Kuro Games for addressing these issues and working on fixes. The compensations they've provided have been incredible, showing their commitment to the player base. However, I believe on the 5th day when I was doing the main story with Jian, it was unplayable at some spots, and this has led to me missing out on the daily rewards as well as the residence, so you could say I missed one day. So, after a week of playing, what's the verdict on Wuthering Waves? It's a fantastic game that offers a rich and immersive experience. The stunning visuals, deep gameplay, and compelling story makes it a must-play for gacha fans. It ain't no Genshin killer, but it's a great competitor. While the game has its problems, I believe they will be solved in the near future. If you haven't picked up Wuthering Waves yet, I highly recommend giving it a try. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the game so far, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.